Hi, Shane. I just want to call and say I really appreciate your phone call tonight. It was I always love to get your phone calls. But I'm really confused about what happened as time went on. We talked about your successes of closing 2 contracts. We talked a little more about a few things. Then I said, "Oh, I meant to talk to you about this new law or rule that was coming down that I hadn't talked to you about before, but I've been meaning to for about a month." So I brought it up, and I said sometimes when there's a dynamic shift in a situation, that there could be some opportunities. And I mentioned there could be some opportunities to talk to sellers and say, listen, you only have to pay 2% now. Well, at that point, you started to, I don't know what would you call it, but you started getting antsy. You said, well, what do? You expect the buyer to pay that commission? And I said, well, I don't know. Don't know the dynamics. But I said, what about your rich people coming in from the Bay Area? And you say, oh, that's right. They could pay it. And I said, well, I was just thinking that perhaps there's an opportunity there to approach buyers and say, listen, um, with the new rule, all you have to do is pay me to list your home. And somehow that bothered you. But there was a lot of reasons that didn't work. And then you wanted to talk about disclosures. Well, that's fine. If you think it's necessary to disclose it, I'm not fighting you on that. Okay. I just happen to think, I didn't think it wasn't necessary, but I wasn't taking a position. I just thought it might not be necessary. And then what happened? I think then you started saying, you've been in business for real estate for 15 years. You started getting really aggressive. Like, that you must disclose everything. And I don't know, I looked at it like maybe you're scolding me because I was suggesting that perhaps not mentioning to the seller that their sale may go slower because of the new situation. That seemed to be something that bothered you a lot. And then, see, what else was there? Then I said to you, Shane, you're seeming like you're sort of getting aggressive here about something that there's nothing to be aggressive about. And then you said, I think where it started going really bad is that you said, well, you go out and sell properties or sell new homes without even being with the people. And I said, no, I don't do it like that. And then you said, yes, you do. You told me that. And you told me that. Like starting to getting really aggressive. You told me that. Okay. And then I said, maybe what I meant to convey, I didn't convey properly, or maybe you misunderstood what I attempted to convey. And because I always go out with the customers. Sometimes I say, listen, we're all set here. You really don't know which area you want to go to. Here's some developments I'd recommend. Go take a look. When you find something you like, I'll meet you, and we'll start working on your deal. I don't know what I said that caused you to believe that I was doing this without ever going out and seeing the people. But the fact that I just said, no, Shane, I do go out and see the people. What I couldn't understand is, like, why couldn't you just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you said when I thought for sure you said that you didn't have to go out and see the people." But I said, "No, that's not, that's not what I do. I go out and see the people." But for some reason, it was like it became a real strong subject with you that you had to tell me that you told me that this. I said, "How can I possibly explain to you that I do go out and see all the customers, every one of them? I never have sold anything without going there and giving him my best advice on all things you should be looking at on new properties." But at that point, you kept insisting that I was lying. Why couldn't it be that I said it and you might want to cut me some slack because maybe I'm an old man that forgot something? That's not what happened, but or why couldn't you just say, "Okay, Dad, I misunderstood." Period. Why was it? Why did you have to keep going and saying I was lying? And you got really voracious about you're lying. You told me. I heard you tell me. What in the world? Uh, the normal thing you say to another human being is, "Oh, I'm sorry. I must have misunderstood. I thought you had a good thing going there, and I misunderstood what you told me." Why wouldn't that have been the end of the conversation? But no, you keep going. You keep telling me I'm lying. You keep telling me you know better. How can you possibly know better of what I said than what I know I said? And even if I was totally wrong, I'm another human being. Why can't you talk to another human being and say, "Hey, I misunderstood," or maybe I misunderstood, or "Wow, I thought for sure you said that, but hey, let's go on." But no, it didn't happen. You had to tell me I was wrong. Why? Why was it? Why was it that I had to be wrong in your mind? What was the? What did you accomplish? What were you trying to accomplish by telling me I was lying? How could you even? Why would you even call your father a liar rather than cutting him some slack? Forget about your father. If I were just a regular guy, why would you attack the guy for a misunderstanding of what had been said? So that's why I said, fuck off, because you've attacked me before. These things somehow lose all context in your mind. Like, somehow you go off on a little side thing that doesn't make any sense. This is a nice conversation where we can agree to disagree on disclosures. We can agree to disagree on that I didn't state my position as well as I should have, so as not to throw you off on what kind of things I do for new home buyers. None of that happened. And given where you haven't been so kind to me about trying to make me prove that I was a good grandpa to Allie, I just should have told you to fuck off at that time. You know, I didn't do anything, Allie, and you guys still think I do? Fuck off. I don't give a shit. I didn't do anything to Allie. Why would you choose to not believe your father over a challenged teenager? She's a teenager, or she was close to that. I'm your dad. So, whenever you're being disrespectful to your father, it's always like not a fascination, but it really turns my stomach because I never, ever would think about being blah, blah, disrespectful to my father or mother. Like, it's impossible for me to do something like that. But for some reason, it doesn't seem too impossible for you. It's like if you feel like being disrespectful, go ahead, go for it. I'm going to be respectful. You're a dumb shit. If I feel like calling you disrespectful and calling you an asshole or calling you a liar, I get to do that. Well, no, you don't get to do that. I don't need to accept that. I've been accepting it. I accepted it from Lloydie. I accepted it from Kirsten. I accepted it from Greg and Mary. But I decided I shouldn't accept it anymore. When Greg and Mary had those basically 3 sessions where Greg kept us from seeing the kids for 2 years, I just should have said, fuck off, Greg. If you don't think your kids need some love from a grandfather, fuck you. And when Danny started doing her nut job thing and meltdown about some thing about I wouldn't give her work on Sunday because I thought she was still too sick, she freaks out and becomes a nut job. I should have just told Allie and Danny. Danny and Greg and Mary, fuck off, you guys. You got a fucked up daughter. Your daughter's disrespectful, and I'm tired of disrespect from your family. Then the third thing was Allie doing her meltdown, like her head spinning around, and I tried to. I was never going to tell anybody about that because it was so terrible for Allie, and I wasn't going to. But then Mary starts this whole damn thing going. Allie continues lying about it. I should have said, listen, fuck you, stupid son of a bitches. If you're gonna call Dad a bad grandpa when your daughter freaks out. I didn't freak out. She freaked out. I was taking her on vacation. So anyhow, that's pretty much it. I would appreciate it if you stop calling me a liar, stop challenging me, and give me the courtesy and respect of saying, okay, Dad, hey, you know what? At worst case, you should be saying, let's agree to disagree, but it never should degrade into an attack, a disrespectful attack. So that's why I told you to fuck off, because I'm not going to take any more disrespect from any of you kids, because it's not worth it. If you don't respect your father enough, if you're going to call up your mother and whine to her about your talk with me, that's not acceptable. Mother should not be involved in this bullshit. So, anyhow, I love you. I wish this wouldn't have happened, and you could have totally avoided it, and I didn't egg you on. You called me a liar. You got upset because I suggested that there's a way for an opportunity of handling sellers that we didn't have before. So I would appreciate you rethinking this, looking at your text notes and saying, why did I do that to my father? Why did I call him? What's the other one? Oh, he had some other thing. Anyhow, for some reason, I wasn't able to pass on to any of you 3 kids that respect is a foundation for a good relationship. So I tried to live with it. It didn't work. I'm not going to live with it anymore. So hopefully you can conduct yourself in a kind, gentle manner and treat your father like an old 80-year-old man who has no ability to think, no ability to talk or remember. Cut me some slack, even if you think I'm totally lying. You don't have to say I'm lying, because I don't lie. Oh, that's another thing. I don't lie. And when you call me a liar, I've only been called a liar like 5 times in my life, and you've done it twice. So you hold the record, buddy. That's an unenviable record to hold. Okay, I love you. Nothing's changed here. I love you. You've changed. So if you can be respectful, that'd be great. It'd be really nice. So good luck. I hope you can do it. Okay. Bye bye.